Okay guys, I know it's been a few days since I put a video up, but then again, I don't need to put a video up every day, especially if nothing's happening. These other YouTubers will make an emergency video when Bitcoin is just doing nothing but going sideways. But listen, the point of this video, yes, I will give you support and resistance levels. Remember, most of my subscribers have access to these charts 24/7. So they already have the charts. They load them up. They know when to buy in. They know when to sell and take the profit, when to long and short. You can swing trade the hell out of these charts all day long. You don't need me to tell you what to do. I do guide you on Twitter and in Discord, but once you learn how to trade them, you can pretty much be self-sufficient and do this for yourself. So I'm going to come back. I will give you price targets for these charts. But first, I want to go through. So this is the last video I put up. I'm not going to play the video, but I'm just going to point out, this was January 13th. I said, look, this is a point you want to short. This yellow line was a lot of resistance. This ring was a lot of resistance. So an ideal point to short be 44,274. We came down from that point. And I also mentioned the DXY. I said that the dollar is going to find support and start pushing up. If the dollar is pushing up, Bitcoin is going to come down and recover this chart as well. So before I come back to these charts, the C1 and the H1 gave you support and resistance levels. I'm going to show you this H1 chart kind of zoomed out. And I'm going to show you the time I put into these charts and the way I set these charts up, we know where our support and resistance levels are way before we get to that point. Even if it's a resistance level we've never tested, we know that we'll get rejected at that point the way I create these charts. And you can see right now, you see this line right here? This line was support back here on the 21st of July 2021. And that ended up being our resistance. That's where we got rejected. So guys, I always say look left, and that's how you know if a line is going to be support and resistance. If previously it was support to the tick, when you come back down and you break it, it was support briefly. We came down, we pushed up, it was resistance, and now we're coming down to our next support. That's this line right here. We'll say, why would that be support? Well, if you go back and look, you can see it was resistance, right? Support. So we know that line will be respected. If that line breaks, right? So if we break this line, your next point would be right here, right? Why? Well, if you go back and you look, the way I've already mapped out the direction of price. So we know the next point you're going to catch a bounce, and this is going to be a lot of support. This was resistance, 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 then it flipped as support. So if we follow that line, right? We follow it. That's the next point you're going to catch a bounce. And where's your next strongest support? Well, we know our next strongest support is going to be right down here. If we follow it back, why is that? Well, look how many times this was tested. Actually, it probably goes further back, but this was support, 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 resistance, resistance, and then resistance, and then we pushed above it. So we know that's very strong support. So again, I'm just showing you that the way I create these charts, we already have our support and resistance levels mapped out. So let me get rid of this because we're going to come back and I'll give you support and resistance levels on these. Let's go to the next chart. So this right here, this is a published version of the H1 chart. This is published on December 19th. Now I've added to the chart since then, but I just want to show you how this chart played out. I'm going to hit play on this. And notice right here, notice this yellow line right here. We hit it, got rejected. Also this white line, it was resistance. We pushed above it briefly, it was resistance. But this yellow line, it pushed us down. We'd never tested this yellow line before. We tested this one, and this blue line was resistance. We pushed up to this yellow line as support and resistance. Hadn't tested this one yet, but look what happened when we hit it. We hit it and we got rejected. So the way I create these charts, you know exactly when to long and when to short. You know if this yellow line was respected, when we hit this yellow line, it will be respected. Again, this is basically just like a fib retracement everybody uses to trade, but these are fib channels. So fib channel is basically a fib retracement at an angle, and the point of that is when you understand the direction of price, you have to watch my tutorial videos to understand how I set these up. But once you do set it up, just like a fib retracement, when you respect one fib number, when you push up to the next one, it'll respect the next one, and that's how we have these points to short way in advance before price gets there. This is a C1 chart, and if you'll notice, we came down. We actually, look, we got rejected. This line right here, this is taken from another chart. I'll go over this in a bit, but this is very strong resistance. But notice we came down, we found support on this yellow line twice, right? Got a bounce. So this would have been your entry point if you wanted to long. You would have shorted right here, and this would have been your entry point for a long right here. Then why did it respect that? Well, again, the way I set these charts up, you see this resistance, right? And then it was resistance again, then flipped as support, and then it was support and support. So again, I map out the direction of price, create these charts so you know where to get in and when to get out. This here is the zoomed out version just to show you. So let's say that you can see we're testing this support right here, right? So if this support breaks, we know that our next support is this white line. Why? Well, we can see that this is a fib channel, guys. Look, so if I move this, you can see the other lines above move. They're all based on the previous fib channels. They all match up. So we know that if we come down, your next support level is this white line. And we also know that if you break this white line, your next support level is going to be these yellow lines right here, right? Just like we caught a bounce, this is zoomed out. You saw we caught 2 bounces off of this line right here. So we know if we break that, your next line, look, this has been tested a lot right here. This was support, support, resistance, resistance, support. So if you come down, you will find a bounce. You'll catch a bounce right here. If we break that, where's your next strongest support? Well, this line right here. This was resistance, 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 and we pushed above it. So we know this will be strong support. And if we're respecting these lines, look, this was support, resistance, resistance, got rejected, came down to the next white line, support, resistance, came down. So if you're respecting these fib channels, well, this is a next fib channel line below. So again, if we break this one, this is your next major support below. Just showing you how to play the charts and why the charts are so accurate. This is a C1 chart. Just want to play this so you can see how this played out. This was published on December 19th. Going to hit play. And again, I add fib channels as price moves along, but notice this blue line right here. We got rejected. You could short every time you hit this blue line. Short, 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 short. This time it did push up. That's when I made the video. I said we get a potential pump or a dump at this ring. We got a pump, came back down. Look, hit it as resistance again. So look, this is that next fib channel line below I was talking about. So again, I map it out. I've added onto the chart since, but again, you can't edit a published chart. Just want to show you how accurate this is. And you can see that line right there. Let me go back to the actual chart. That line right here, that is the line that you saw in that published version. This line right here, that's where we got rejected right here, and that is on this chart right here. See, got perfect rejection. So these targets are way out before price gets to it. Don't worry, guys. I'm going to get to the point why I believe we're coming down more. I'm just trying to show you how the charts work. So this was the G1 chart. Guys, if you've been following me, I told you when we got to 67,000 to take your profit and get out. I also said when we got to this point, respecting this trend line in my tutorials, the first thing I teach is about trend lines. That gave us a perfect point to get out right here at 68,000, close to 69,000. So we came down, but look what happened. This line right here was support. It was support. It was support. We broke it and we dropped. And I said, that's what I was talking about in this video right here. I said, look, this is an ideal point to short. Why? Well, we know that we got rejected here. This is when I called the top. So if we're coming up, you can see how we've been respecting this line. It's been resistance, support, support, resistance, resistance, support. We're respecting the hell out of that line. Not to mention we hit this to the tick. So that's how I knew that at this point, this line has been a lot of resistance. It's been support. So you got 2 lines there. I call that double resistance. So that's the ideal point to put in a short. That's why I said this would be the point to short. We've been coming down. So just showing you how these charts work. This is a published version of this chart just to show you, just so you understand. This yellow line right here, right? This is what I'm talking about. So you notice this is actually a green line. I just have the yellow line outlining it. So if you notice right here, watch, when I hit, this was published on August 31st, 2021. If I hit play, that's that line right there. That line was there way before price. Hit it to the tick. And you can see if I hit play again, that's that point I told you to short right here, this green line in this white ring. And again, I'll give you price targets. So this was a tweet I made, guys. My Twitter is private. You have to subscribe to my charts to get access to Twitter and my Discord. But I was saying, look, something's got to give soon. And I was pointing out. So if we're in this, you can see this was support, support, support. This is our resistance. So this would be a continuation pattern potentially. So if we break to the upside, we will continue up. If we break below this point, then it's possible. That's why I have this yellow line here. This would be a descending triangle, which is a bearish pattern. So if we break below at this point, fund support here, it's more than likely we're coming down. And that is how that played out. You can see that this was, our support, resistance, support, resistance, support. We broke below this point, and then we had a drop and we're coming down. So I do believe we had a lot more downside just based on this alone on the L1 chart. You measure from the distance from the top to the bottom. That would take us down to potentially 40,300. And guys, That's why I have different charts for you to match. So there's confluence here. On the L1 chart, that takes us to 40,300, right? If the distance you would drop from a descending triangle. So if we go back to, I think it's a C1 of the H1 chart, let's see here. So what is this price target right here? If we put this on the chart, look at that, 40,300. So that's probably where we're headed, to 40,300 before we catch our next bounce. 40,300, let's find this chart right here. And price label. So that's a lot of confluence right there, 40,300. That looks like that's probably where we're headed right now. And again, I will give you support and resistance levels. No, this is running long, but again, I want you to understand why I believe there's more downside. So I've showed you guys previous bear markets. You know, our bear market we had back here in, this was 2000. Let me pull this up so you can see it. So back in 2013, 2015, we dropped a total of 86%, right? In 2017, 2018, we dropped a total of almost 84%. And I'm telling you, the same thing is going to play out. You can see right here, the MACD, the bars went from, you can see right here, it went from blue to red, and we got a cross right here, right? Well, we're about to get one hell of a cross. You can see the MACD is way overextended. We're way up here about to cross right here. And you can see the MACD is about to go down into the red. This is on the monthly. And as I said, guys, your first targets to watch is going to be the 200 weekly, this yellow moving average, and this red one is the 300 weekly. I believe that's where we're headed to. But convincing you that we're heading to that point, because people, these YouTubers are so bullish, saying, "Oh, we're going to go to 100,000, we're going to go to $1 million." No, guys, Bitcoin follows the U.S. markets. It's inversely correlated with the DXY. I've shown you this chart. When the dollar, this is the dollar above, this is Bitcoin below. The dollar dropped 15%, Bitcoin pushed up 2,500%. The dollar pushed up 11%, Bitcoin dropped about 84%. The dollar dropped close to 14%, Bitcoin pushed up, a little over 1,400%. You can see the dollar is pushing up, and you can see Bitcoin is pretty much topped out and is starting to come down. So again, I'm showing you, if the dollar continues up, Bitcoin's going to come down. Inflation. So there's this narrative a lot of these bullish YouTubers are pushing. They're saying, well, Bitcoin's a hedge against inflation. Well, we've got inflation going on like crazy, but Bitcoin is still down, what, 36% from its all-time high? You can see food prices are going up. I mean, I don't even go to the store to buy eggs now. I just go out in the backyard, climb a tree, raid a bird's nest, and grab those eggs. It takes more eggs for a serving. Sometimes there's bones in it, but I'm not paying these ridiculous prices. But again, there's inflation. There's the cost of living is going up, but the value of the dollar is actually going up, though. And this is what I was talking about. If you watched the previous video, I said, look, we're going to come down, find support. Dollar's going to push up. The dollar's been pushing up. That's going to be bearish for Bitcoin. And if we break above this resistance right here, that means the dollar is going to be pushing up much higher. But if you zoom out, look at the bigger picture right here. So, guys, the U.S. dollar is a world currency, all right? That is why stable coins are pegged to the U.S. dollar. So, yeah, other countries, fiat, maybe the U.S. dollar eventually is going to go to zero, it's going to collapse, but we're talking 10, 15, 20 years out. But if the other currencies start collapsing, the last one standing is going to be the U.S. dollar. People are going to jump out of their crap currency into the U.S. dollar, causing the U.S. dollar to push up. Again, there's a reason stablecoins are pegged to the U.S. dollar. It's a world reserve currency. So what I'm getting at is that dollar will continue to push up. And the Dow Jones, guys, so this is the Dow Jones and the U.S. dollar right here. All right, so this is a zoomed out view of the U.S. dollar. And I get it, the dollar has been coming down. Its highest point back in 1984 was 159, right? And it came all the way down to 79 and pushed back up and dropped, but it's going lower and lower and lower. And this is back since 1980. This is the Dow Jones above. But you notice the inverse correlation? The stock market's been pushing up, right? Since 1980. I mean, it goes back further, but the U.S. dollar on this chart only goes back so far. But notice what's happening here. The Dow, all of the stock, the NASDAQ, the S&P, but the markets have been pushing up, right? While what? The dollar has been going down in value. So what happens if the stock market starts coming down? Well, it makes sense if when the markets are pushing up, well, we can say if the dollar is going down, the markets are pushing up. Depends on which way you want to look at it. But you can see that if the dollar is going down while the markets are going up, what happens when the markets come down? That's right, the dollar's going to push up. And if you look at it, this looks like a falling wedge to me. Resistance, support, resistance, support. We just broke above resistance and now holding as support. It looks pretty damn bullish to me. And just like I showed you previously, if you want to measure the distance, well, let's do a trend line here. Let's see if I can find my trend line. So if you want to measure the distance, how far this could push up, I think you come from the top right here. That could bring us up. There's more confluence. That would bring us up to our previous high back in the 3rd of December 1984. That would bring the US dollar up to 161. That would be catastrophic for Bitcoin. Let's go on. So I keep seeing these ads for Gemini. I just thought this was funny. I can't play their ads. It's got sound in it, or music, but Gemini's running this ad. It says, start your Bitcoin empire with only $5. That's right, guys. If you put $5 into Bitcoin, you can start an empire. Totally amazing that you can make that much money. People probably believe this. But again, if you have millions and millions of people all putting in $5 and $10 and $15, they're making money off of, you buying in, your fees to buy, and then, wells dump on your ass. But this is what I'm getting at. Part of their little ad says 6 times faster than the stock market. That's true. When the stock market's pushing up, Bitcoin does exceptional. But you know what else is true? When the markets are coming down, Bitcoin's about 2 to 3 times faster. So yeah, if the markets are pushing up, Bitcoin's doing fantastic. When markets are coming down, Bitcoin's going to come down 2 to 3 times faster. And guys, look right now, the markets are in the negative 320. This is the Dow Jones. The Dow is down. This is aftermarket trading. Every time I'm recording this video, we got about, I think, 30 minutes for the markets open. I'm trying to get this up pretty soon. But the Dow's already down 326 points. Guys, remember, Bitcoin follows the U.S. dollar. This is what I'm getting. Bitcoin follows U.S. markets. If the markets are down, Bitcoin's going to come down. So I don't know why people are bullish. You got inflation, you got COVID, you got all the stuff that's going on that's causing the markets to drop, possibly raising interest rates soon because of inflation. There's no reason to be bullish. That's why I'm showing you Bitcoin is going to be coming down a lot lower. I believe that, I told you the 200 weekly, 300 weekly is our target. And guys, I'm not getting political here. I'm just trying to show you why I believe that we have a lot more downside. If you note, I think the Democrats were in control, but recently, I guess one Democrat is kind of siding with the Republicans. So Biden can't pass, certain things he wants to do, like his stimulus package. He wanted to pass the Build Back Better bill. It failed. It won't pass. And what Republicans want is they want to make sure that if things are bad, it's under Democratic control. So they want the stock market to go down. They want there to be chaos because that means that people that voted Democrat are likely to vote Republican. So it's in Republicans' best interest for things to go to crap under the Biden administration, so people will vote Republican. Another reason, again, when Republicans were in control, they were releasing money like crazy, stimulus packages, trying to help people out. But when the Democrats are in control, they don't want to release that money. So again, I'm just showing you different things that tells me that everything's coming down. So I know this ran long, guys. Let me give you support and resistance levels to pay attention to. So as I mentioned in the previous video, guys, your next point to catch a bounce is going to be right here. You might catch a bounce here, and the only reason I say this, if you notice this blue ring right here, this was previously support. I mean, you could play this blue ring. You can make a killing. Right here, 40,541. Right here, 40,608. Right here, 40,730. So we're coming up on this now. So you might catch a small bounce here at 41,394. If we push up, resistance to watch right here. I don't believe we're going to get above this point. I'll show you some other charts in confluence with this. The 42,474 is your next very strong resistance. Again, I'll give you the next one above it. I do not see us pushing this high. There is some confluence that 43,600 is very strong resistance. Again, I don't think we'll get above 42,440, especially with the markets down. So the next point to catch a bounce right here, I showed you guys zoomed out on that chart, is 40,954. And your next support level, I'll give you this one too, guys, is around 39,122. But that's what I'm saying. If you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, the reason you might catch a bounce here, and again, I'm saying swing trading. I'm not saying this is a bottom, we're off to the moon. But you can see right here, this is 41,000, or 40,000, it's about 41,000. But if that breaks, well, your next support level to catch a bounce is going to be right here, about 37,000, depending when you hit it, it's at an angle, 37,677. And then I showed you this is going to be very strong support around 32,900. So again, I'm just showing you how to play these charts. The way I map it out, we already have our support and resistance levels, to play already on the chart. Let's go on to the H1 chart. So again, you can see it looks like we're breaking the support right now. We're currently, your support on this chart is 41,400. If we break that, your next support level is going to be right here at 40,247. And guys, as I showed you, each one of these lines will be support and resistance. So you pull this out. You can put a line right here. You can see this line right here was support and resistance. So we know if we come down and you break 40,227, well, depending on when you make contact with this, and this is a pretty steep angle. If you drop straight down, 39,650. Out here, it's like 39,221, but you can long each one of these. And your strongest, you can see if we go back, your strongest support, the more times a line was tested, the stronger it will be. We can tell this line's been tested a lot. So if we bring this out, and I'll have to extend that fib channel out, but you can see that's going to be very strong support. Just saying, I think we have a lot of downside, but there's a lot of points to buy in, too long, to swing trade. You come down, you buy at 36,451 or 53, and you push up and take your profit here. But I do believe we're in a bear market. I do believe there's more downside. I don't see us pushing up. This line right here, guys, so, and if when price is pushing up, these charts are live, so I'll update them. Right here you can see when price pushed up. Added this trend line. This is on the 3 hour, but you can see this right here was support. Right here, so you can see here, this was support right here. This was support right here. So I extended that trend line out. You had support right here, so it made sense. Look, guys, previous support will become resistance. So we pushed up to that resistance at 42,500. That's where you should have shorted. So if we drop, guys, I'm just showing you how to play the charts. So if we break the support, you see we're bouncing off of it now. If we push up, well, you can tell these are your resistance levels to watch. 42,300 to potentially, and that's what I was talking about, guys. There's this line right here on the L1 chart is going to be a lot of resistance. Out here is like 42,720. I don't see us going that high, but again, that is a major resistance level. So if you did get to this point, short it, because if we get above this red line, we're going to have one hell of a pump. The way markets are and US dollar pushing up, just don't see that happening. But these are your major, your smaller targets for swing trading. Let me go to the, let's see, the G1 chart here. So look, I'm going to give you some targets. So this is that line I was talking about. That's that red line I added to the C1 chart. So your current resistance right now is 42,764. I don't see us getting above that point. I think we have a lot more downside. If you do want to get access to these charts, guys, I have your next major support levels down below. And I have this red line, this previous horizontal support. But these are your targets, guys. But your main targets to watch, guys, I do believe there's a lot more downside. Let's see here. So you can see this was, we're coming down. We're breaking down from this descending triangle right now. So I do think your first point to catch a bounce will be around 40,300. Remember, that's on the C1 chart, but you do have support levels and resistance levels above. Where's this? I just want to show you this L1 chart here. Forgive me, guys. So I don't have this chart up. But this should give you enough support and resistance levels. But the main thing to take away from this, guys, is there's a lot more downside. Again, I expect the dollar to continue to push up. Remember, Bitcoin is inversely correlated with the dollar. I expect a lot more downside for the stock market. And if the dollar's pushing up and the stock market's coming down, Bitcoin's going to come down much faster. But guys, that's pretty much it. If you want to access these charts, websites, opticrypto.com. I have a link pinned in the first comment in the description. Guys, that's it. Trade safe, trade smart. I'm out.